All right, I will call the meeting to order. Let's begin with roll calling. I'm Simon T, Chair for the Civil Service Commission.
And I'm Eric Trimble, current commissioner on the Civil Service Commission.
Here in the room, it's James Trujillo, the Secretary, Chief Examiner.
Julianne McGarva, Deputy Civil Service Chief Examiner.
I'm Blake Chard, hopefully soon to be on the Civil Service Commission after City Council.
John Wicks, Chief of Police.
Brian Hurley, Fire Chief.
All right, thank you all. So the next item on our agenda is basically to determine whether or not we have any proposed changes to the agenda, or are we good with the agenda as presented?
There are no changes to the agenda to my knowledge.
All right, great. Thank you. And so the next one, the next item then is to review and approve the minutes for the last meeting's minutes. So I reviewed the minutes real briefly or quickly just now before the meeting, and I don't really have any comments or questions. Does anyone, Eric, do you have any question or comment? Or
My only comment was I enjoyed reading the part where Commissioner T became the chair for 2020.
yeah, rub it in.
No, I'll move approval of the minutes as submitted.
All right, I second the motion, and those of us who support the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So motion's adopted. So the minutes is now good for the last meeting. So next item on the agenda will be for status of eligibility list. James, you want to go ahead?
Sure. So we've submitted for your review the current status of our eligibility lists. There's only one minor change with the lateral firefighter paramedic. We no longer have a list for that role. Otherwise, it is the same as it was last month, with the same where we were before.
Okay. Any comments, questions, Commissioner Trimble?
None for me.
Right, thank you, James. Next item is approval of updated entry-level police officers eligibility list.
All right, thank you. So we've provided with you for you two documents. One is the staff report for entry-level police officer, which gives you a breakdown of the most recent round. This is an active, continuous, and open competitive recruitment process. What we provided for is the results of the last round, so you can see the number of applicants that we received, how many were male applicants versus female, the number of diverse applicants, and how many passed through all phases. So 100% passed through all phases. Including the percentage of women and diverse candidates passed through. So that's essentially the report. Any questions on the report before I move to the eligibility list?
I don't have any questions. Eric?
No, none for me.
Okay. And then, so the next document, we have the updated eligibility list for folks that are competing for the role. Got 9 individuals on the eligibility list currently. Also have for you information about who was added to the list and who was removed from the list from the last time we met with the commission.
And the removal, was that from time? Just timed out?
I do not recall. Do you recall?
Michael
Michael's
Sigmund,
statement?
John, I think you just didn't pass the chief's interview.
Chief Wicks, are you still there?
Sorry, I'm dealing with something else on this for a second. Can you repeat that?
Michael, did he just not pass the chief's interview? I don't remember specifically off the top of my head.
He did not pass his background investigation.
Background on this. Thank you.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
Great. Any other question, comments, Commissioner Trimble?
No further questions.
Okay, do I have any motion to adopt the eligibility list?
Yes, I will move to approve the updated entry-level police officer eligibility list as submitted.
And I second the motion, and those of us who support the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so motion's adopted. Now the list now finally adopted as well. Thank you. So item number 7 on our agenda is the approval of Lieutenant Firefighter Exam Plan.
All right, thank you, Commissioner T. So we have the Fire Lieutenant Testing Plan. This is very similar to what we have done in the past. It is partially developed and administered by publicsafetytesting.com, and they are administering the second and third steps of this process. So the first step of the process is the candidate screening, which will be conducted by HR and the Assistant Fire Chief, just to verify that they meet minimum qualifications as posted in the job description. And then those that meet the qualifications are invited to participate in the second step, which is a written exam worth 40%. That is based upon the Fire Emergency Services Company Officer, 6th edition. They will have a 30-day study period. There'll be 100 questions total. 70% is the minimum passing score. And they would need that in order to pass on to the Step 3 Assessment Center, which is worth 60%. And then these are the dimensions that will be evaluated in the Assessment Center, again, conducted by Public Safety. Passing minimum score is again 70%. And then we're planning to have a list for your approval by the May 11th, 2023 Civil Service Commission. The top 7 candidates are eligible for the chief's interview as part of this process. And of course, just to note that, this is tied to the lieutenant paramedic firefighter position as well. So this is one of 2 parts of this overall process. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I was just wondering, Chief Hurley, do you have any idea how many people are eligible at this point to take this exam?
That's a
Chief
good question.
Hurley?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was just thinking about that as I was reading through the packet. As far as being eligible, I'm speaking off the top of my head, but there's probably at least 7 or 8 people eligible to take the test.
Any
And
other
Have we
questions?
gotten good feedback from this testing process in the past?
I'll speak from my perspective. The short answer is yes. The written test, it's just tests out of that, or questions out of the company officer book, but in particular the assessment center, an all-day event with multiple stations, with role playing, with command tactical scenario, and a number of phases there to evaluate all of these dimensions. We've been very happy with the results of that process. And I'll allow James and Julianne to make their comments as well.
Thanks, Chief Hurley. Yeah, from my perspective, it's been well received, and I think people got value out of the process. And I think by and large, most of the feedback has been extremely positive about that it is evaluating things that are useful to them in their positions. So there's always room for improvement. And public safety is good about taking that feedback as well.
Okay, well, any other comment, questions about the examination plan?
None from me.
Okay. So do we have a motion to approve the Lieutenant Firefighter exam plan?
Yeah, I would make a motion to approve the lieutenant firefighter exam plan as submitted.
As presented? Okay, I second the motion, and those of us who support the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so the exam plan is adopted. Thank you. Let's move to item number 8. Approval of Lieutenant Paramedic exam plan.
So thank you, Chair T. So this is essentially, it is building on the fire lieutenant exam plan. So you'll notice that the exam plan has the same elements, has the written exam, has the assessment center. Those are the same. And then it has an oral board, which is step 3 of the process. And so that oral board is worth 50%. So this is a cumulative process building on the last exam plan, because in order to be eligible for a paramedic lieutenant role, you have to actually have to pass the fire lieutenant exam as well. So all of that leads to this oral board. And then you see the breakdown of how it is assessed. Finally, the 20% for the written exam, 30% for the oral board, 50% I'm sorry, 20% for the written exam, 30% for the assessment center, and 50% for the oral boards. Creates the final ranking. And again, top 7 are eligible for the chief's interview. And that will all be, the eligibility list will be coming to you at the May 11th meeting. Any questions, comments?
I don't really have any question,
No
comment.
question.
Eric?
No.
All right, do I have a motion to adopt the exam plan as presented?
Yes, I will move that we approve the firefighter lieutenant paramedic exam plan as submitted.
And a second motion, and those of us who approve or support the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so the lieutenant paramedic exam plan is now adopted. Thank you. Next item, number 9, civil service rule position update. James.
All right, thank you. So what we have for you is we provided a brief staff report on proposed change to Civil Service Rule 21 on fire service classifications. And essentially what it is doing is adding a new classification based on some business needs that the city has, the fire department has, and was discussed and negotiated in the last round of the fire negotiations. So it's adding a new role of Fire Prevention Officer 2. And it enables the city to improve our fire prevention services, expansion of inspection services, and expansion of public education to prevent fires. Also enables us to put in place some valuable certifications, which are helpful to the city. And so we provided you with the staff report and also provided you with the updated position description that was shared with you in the packet, so you could see the additions that were made to this job. So any questions you have for me or for Chief Hurley about this change in this new position?
I'm wondering, is this is strictly a promotional position within the ranks?
Yes, it would be a promotional position.
Yeah,
Does that mean it would not be open competitive except for internal candidates promotional opportunity? Is that what you mean, James?
Well, I think the view is that, if we have the capacity within the department for promotions, we have individuals who can take it, then it would be something that we would view that way. If there was obviously no one that was, had the minimum qualifications, we'd have to look other ways to actually recruit someone into this role.
So it could be both for internal promotion as well as for open competition kind of position to outsiders.
That's the way that I view it. If it's just like any other recruitment, if you have the capabilities within the city and you have a pool and you feel like that's defensible, then you could go forward with an internal only sort of
Okay.
promotional process.
Good to know.
Chief Hurley, did you have comments on that?
Yeah, I guess I was just going to add a little background in that, this fire prevention officer position was originally called the fire inspector, and through the pandemic, that person retired and the position was open for a period of time. When we brought it back, we came to you and reclassified it as a fire prevention officer, taking a broader look really at risk reduction in general in our community. And really that position focused primarily on fire inspection. And as you can see, those certifications are through the International Code Council primarily, and some fire investigation training. But we also have other needs. And one of the big ones is to have a certified fire life safety educator. But again, that's more fire prevention education and for the community, and there's a certification that has to be held for that. So really to recognize the additional training and requirements, that's where the idea of the fire prevention officer 2 came from. That was brought up in negotiations by the labor group.
So is it fair to say that the primary difference between this new classification versus the fire inspection, the old position, is the addition of the life safety educator certification piece of it?
That's correct. And this position will still do a lot of fire inspection. That there's still a fire prevention officer. Our hope certainly is to grow this division at some point and expand our capabilities. But right now we're just adding the second level so that we can help expand our capabilities in the fire prevention arena. And as James mentioned, it does help the city in that this is one of the certifications that the Survey and Rating Bureau looks for when they examine our fire department and our capabilities.
Thank you.
And I'll just add, just one more quick comment. I mean, we tried to clarify that under the required training, and it shows how, if you look at the fire prevention officer 1, it has all of these, but then the 2 has these additional requirements that are part of the qualifications.
Right, great. Any other question, Eric?
None from me. I would move that we approve this rule change by adding this new position as proposed.
Is it appropriate for us to move forward? I mean, is it a requirement for us to approve this, James?
Yes, you do need to approve it. I apologize for the typo on the agenda. It should have said approval item and it does not. So that should have been corrected. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Well, I second the motion, and then those of us who support the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So the rules, the new rules now for this fire prevention officer positions now adopted. Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is, I guess, is for, unless there are additional item to discuss, we'll be considering adjourning this meeting. Are there any business or would anyone like to bring up or discuss?
Sure, and apologies again, Commissioner Key. It looks like we have a couple of typos in our agenda. So the updates should have been its own item. So we always like to, it's been our practice to have updates for if there's any updates from the chief for the, so I would suggest that we would have like a brief update section. We can just clarify the next meeting date of 3/9 and then adjourn. If that's all right with you.
Yes, yes, definitely, yeah. Go ahead and proceed, who, if you can provide an update, that would be wonderful. Chief.
Sure. Chief Wicks, you want to give a quick update?
Sure. First, let me apologize again. I had a lieutenant that came to my door with an urgent matter, so I apologize for being distracted a little bit earlier. But we are looking at being at full staffing, hopefully by the end of this week. With that being said, we still, that doesn't mean we're at through full staffing, but we hired one person today. We believe our second person is going to finish the background investigation tomorrow or the next day. And we hope to have them starting March 1st and March 2nd. So that will put us at full staffing for about a month and a half. And then we will be back down one. We have one of our officers who is resigning to move back to the East Coast of the United States to follow his dream of opening a distilling business. So we wish him the best of luck going back there. But right now, with those two people we hired, we are looking at about an 8-month wait to get them in the police academy. That's been the latest update. Now, things can change in the next 8 months and hopefully it'll speed up. But right now, we're going to be holding on to them for 8 months before we can even put them in the police academy. So that is the update I have. Unless there's any questions, I'll turn it over to Chief Early.
Thank you.
I just want to congratulate you on hitting the target even for a month or so.
Yes,
That's a lot of work, I know, to get there, and it's not easy recruiting people these days, so
Yep.
well done.
Thank you.
great.
Yeah, I'll just first, thanks for the approval of the testing processes. We do have one open fire lieutenant position, so this will help us towards the goal of filling that position. With regard, we also are in the process of a lateral firefighter paramedic process, and we had 2 applicants for the lateral position, and we scheduled interviews with those candidates. So hopefully we can bring a list back to you soon. We're excited about that. We have 2 paramedic openings right now that we would be very excited to be able to fill those, and that would put us at full staffing as well. With our last lateral process, we did advertise to a bit wider audience through some publications, and we got a lot more views of our application. I think it almost doubled the amount of people at least viewing it, but in this case, it didn't necessarily result in more applications. So we'll continue to try to expand our reach. And I believe, I don't have the date in hand, but I know we're going to go to Tacoma Community College. They're having a kind of an employment fair that we'll go there with Thurston County Medic One and tout the benefits of our system and the great employers we have here. And that's all I have, unless you have questions.
Thank you, Chief. Good luck with that effort right there. Hope you have some good outcome from that fair in Tacoma.
All right. And then I just had one brief update. So starting March 9th, Julianne McGarva will be taking on the interim role of senior HR manager for the city of Tumwater. And so she will assume the role of chief examiner for civil service. So I think, as many of you know, I've accepted a senior manager role in Oregon. And so my last day is coming up here shortly. So just wanted to put it on the record for people to know. So
Well,
that's all of
James,
our updates for you.
yeah, James, we're sad to see you go, but on behalf of Commissioner, I really want to thank you for all the years of service you have provided to the city, and it's been a pleasure working with you. And good luck on your new position in Oregon, and hopefully we somehow get to be in touch, regardless of the distance. So
Absolutely. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to work with you.
Good luck, James.
Thank you very much. All right.
All right,
Next
thank you
thing
all. With that, are there any other business or any issue, anyone? would like to
Just
bring-
March 9th is our next meeting, scheduled meeting. Is there everything okay with that date?
We're back to our regular, what do you call that? What do you call it?
Second Thursday.
Okay,
Mhm.
Yep. Second Thursday. Yep.
that should be good. Hopefully, Blake, will get to join us in the next meeting, so I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
All right.
I will move adjournment.
All right. Thank you. And so any motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll move adjournment.
I second the motion, and those say, support the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the meeting's adjourned. Thank you all for taking the time. Have a wonderful evening. Blake,
Adios.
hope to see you next meeting. James,
All
again,
right.
good
Thank
luck
you.
and thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good night.
Night.